afternoon, or good evening. I've got no idea what time you're watching this, but it is the holiday, Juneteenth. I actually forgot about it, only because I thought it was a Joe Biden holiday. I completely forgot that we had a day off today, but it is what it is. The futures markets are still open. Only the U.S. market is closed today, and as of this moment, the futures are down. The S&P is down 0.5%. The Russell 2000 is down almost 1%. The NASDAQ is down 0.67%, and the Dow Jones is down 0.5%. Over on the VIX, nothing special. Little gap up above 2102 and just hovering in that 21 area as we head into Quad OPEX Friday tomorrow. But as far as the S&P is right now at 5946.90, and as I made the greatest of efforts to attempt to prepare that we were getting a full moon top, which we can now say that we have on that June 11th CPI day, right there, 6059.40, and that we have now broken below that 5963 as of this moment, pending what happens here on Friday, tomorrow. But we are now looking at what we had continued to discuss, which, even when we go through the emails for the week, Quad OPEX and FOMC week ending June 20th watch, as I discussed in here in pretty much detail, the bullish views do not take into this consideration, do not take that into consideration, do not take all of this into consideration. Regardless, bullish or bearish, we were looking at a wave 3 top and a wave 4 drop and then a wave 5 bounce. So we were still looking for a drop. That's the bullish view. Same thing on the QQQ. Same thing over there on the IWM, which, again, IWM, different wave count, but we'll see how that goes. We're not here to talk semantics. But on Monday is where it got very interesting. Because on Monday, as, timing is a little bit off. We were at, S&P 6010 as we were coming in there around 4 o'clock in the morning. And as I said, we dropped that minus 1% there on Friday. And you can go back and take a day like today, which is a holiday, and you may not have anything to do, but I'll discuss that in a little bit as well when it comes to the trades. Because we had that minus 1% move on Friday, and even though we get a plus 1% move on the ES from its overnight low, we did not get it on the SPX. Thus, because it's been proven over and over again, when you get that minus 1% move on the SPX, finding the bottom is the tricky part, but you can virtually bet your house that a plus 1% move is going to be following. And this was going into Monday, right? We had that big red flag that we had that gap up at 60.10. So 60.36 being the plus 1%. The gap over there on Thursday at 60.45, we didn't know. We didn't know what was going to be there. But then we did know, which I put all of this into the email that I sent out afterwards, discussing about the Quad OPEX and FOMC wake SPX 6,982 math, which is actually what I'm going to be discussing in this video here. 7:37 a.m., Iran came out with their, hey, we want peace. We're willing to stop all nuclear research. That headline came out. True, not true, who cares? Doesn't matter. Like I said, plan on seeing 60.45 now. This was 2 hours before the market opens. Then I was able to go back and do a little bit of research because it is what it is, video game. And Quad OPEX June Mondays, with exception to 2022, every single Monday has closed green and above the open, and that's going back all the way to 2017. 8:23, we had the 60.45 warning that the upside was going to be there. We were at 60.20 already. You had Friday's rejection. So anyway, again, going through it all. But as I posted here, 9:59 in the morning after we got open, 60.15 calls, 60.10 calls, bearish call play looking for that 6,982. The 60.15, 60.10 every single day of the week was providing for $4.
You smell that? What is that?
What?
What's that smell?
The cologne?
No. opportunity?
No, money.
Oh, okay.
I smell money.
Like I said, you go do the math on that. That's what we're here to talk about, is the math. That's why I went into here with, call it what it is, okay? If my English doesn't get through and somebody actually mentioned to me that, well, you're not going to be around to spoon feed me trades forever. Brother, I don't put any trades on a spoon. I put them on a fucking shovel. My name's Kevin Lomax, and after waking up, the Iran headline, reading the SPX big red flag in the morning email, and then seeing the 1 hour prior to the open post about quad OPEX Mondays always closing green, with 6,982 harped about since Jobs Friday, I did the math as was posted there. And like I shared with you, my trades. $4 limit filled for Tuesday. $4 limit filled for Wednesday. And $4 limit filled, I'm going in the wrong direction, but $4 limit filled on Friday. So the 60-10, 60-15, Friday, Wednesday, and Tuesday. And again, tried to explain it all for you. Whether it worked, it didn't work, it is what it is, but the math is what the math is, because you got your full $4 credit over there on Tuesday. $1 risk, $4 credit, it's a 400% return. You came over here yesterday. You not only got your $4 credit yesterday, but you had multiple opportunities to get $3 credit on that trade had you winced out. Now, I'm not using the right word, but had you missed out on getting in when we were at 60.23 on Tuesday. $4 credit, full credit, 400%. And now here we go into Friday. Friday being quad OPEX, and again, because this data is available for every single person on the planet and every AI computer out there, quad OPEX Fridays like to close red. They simply do. June, March 2022, I can give you specific reasons why those didn't work. And over here on June 2022, it was 8.07. Over here on the Friday, coming off of December 2024, you just go and look up a couple days above and you had the FOMC banger where we nearly dropped 4% on the day. So obviously we were oversold going into that Friday. Come over here onto March 2025. No, we didn't close red, but we closed within 5 points. Very similar to what happened over here on June 2022. And that's because it's all a video game. And if you track this and you follow it along, you can start to see how the video game works. But anyway, we're getting into semantics here. So bring you on, again, just looking over here onto the spreads room yesterday. You can close your 60-15, 60-10s at $2 if you want to get out ahead of everything. There are no safe edges, under $1. And over here, 1029, because I posted this over in the alert room, take the money space. Take the money space, because I know a lot of you are reading other things and following what these gay Asian men are doing, and you're so enthralled with these gay Asian men that you're paying too much attention to these gay Asian men. You're in a PCS scalp off spot here, 6,982, and then to take the money off space over there just after that. So how was that? Because again, me being on the other side of the world, my timing is off a little bit. The top came in at 10:39 a.m. I posted that right around 10:28. And I believe we were right here. We were about 2 points lower, 1.5 points lower than where the top of the day came in. So where I bring you to this is coming on and doing math. And you don't need to be a rocket scientist to be able to do this stuff. You really don't. So once again, 60-15, 60-10 every day this week is $4. So You make a decision on your own and you say, okay, $2,000 is the maximum risk I'm putting out this week. Okay, divide that by 3 because you have 3 days, and you come out with $667 a day that you can risk. Now, at $4 credit, okay, it's off a little bit, but you could get yourself 7 contracts. That $4 credit there on Tuesday, and you're done. That's it. Your $2,000 already back in your pocket with money. Now you got $350 credit. Okay, so you made $1,556. $1,556. What is that? Let's work it out. Where do we come out when we get $3.50 credit? We only make 233% on the trade. That's it. You only make 233%. Just like back here on June 9th. $3.50 credit on the 6,982. Only made 233% on the trade. So again, bring you back in here. That's your number. You only get $3 credit. Okay, well, you made $1,000 of your money back because you're only making 150% on that $667 that you can risk. So let's say you got 10 grand. Make 40 grand on your 10 grand. Make 23 grand on your 10 grand if you got 350. You make 15 grand on your 10 grand if you got $3. Let's say you only got $1,000 that you're willing to risk. Well, there it is. You made 4 grand on your 1,000 if you took the $4. You make 2,300 on your $1,000 if you got the 350. You make 1,500 profit on your 1,000, 150% if you got the $3. So let's say you're a big guy. Say you decide, okay, I'm going to blow 50 grand this week. Well, you made 200 grand if you're taking the $4 credit for all 3 days. You make 75 on your 50 grand if you're taking it for the $3 credit each day. But then there are the 100 contract guys, which that's where we're at. We're at 167 contracts. So let's try and get it 250 contracts right there. 75 grand, 250 contracts at $4 credit. Now, here again, this is where I want to get into the next part of the subject. 250 contracts, 25 grand out on this trade, $100,000 profit. Same thing over here on Wednesday, yesterday. Same thing due to occur on Friday, tomorrow. 25 grand at risk, 100 grand in profit. 25 grand at risk, 37,500 in profit if you got $3 credit. When I put these trades out, even though they are being defined as a risk trade, I have to take into consideration that the person that's taking this trade does not have day trades. They can't day trade this. They're out of day trades. So it has to work. I have to take into consideration that this person is making somebody else a millionaire by way of having a job. They actually work. You might have your own business, and I will never hold that against you. But you might be working for somebody else for a paycheck. So you can't watch the markets. You can't look and check in. I have to be confident that what I'm putting out there, even though it is a risk trade, which is getting exceptionally good credit, is going to work at the end of the day. So it again brings me back over here to the math, where these are things that you need to know on your own. Way ahead of time, you need to know. You don't need to be sitting there at a poker table and all of a sudden you get ace-ace and the dealer's got 2-7, and you need to think about what your bet is going to be. You need to know what your bet is before you even sit down at the table. So I bring you back again. Here we are. We're floating around 59.50 here overnight. But when it comes to the gay Asian men, let me tell you here, right? It was 13 years ago I started aim high profits with my buddy Mike, my partner Mike. A lot of you know Mike. A lot of you have spoken with Mike. A lot of you have met Mike. A lot of you have gotten involved in SRLA through Mike. He and I had the greatest 3 years of our life. We enjoyed it so much because it put my maximum efforts, which was research and finding good stocks to buy, and it put his maximum efforts, which is the internet. Without spending a penny, we could rank number one on any stock ticker, on any phrase. And in the time that we were there, we came across the terps of Jason Bond, which a lot of you know about. Timothy Sykes, which even more of you know about. And if you went over and you studied anything about Timothy Sykes, you knew the trap that he was selling. And that's where you guys come in because, like I said, we had a blast. We had an absolute blast. And it's starting to knock on my door again where he wants to do this together with me, but he doesn't want it to be where I have to sit here and be on the room chatting with everybody all day long about trades. We put out the trades and that's it. I go to bed. Whatever happens, happens. And I'm not willing to do that. But again, it comes down to you guys running and following these gay Asian men.
Doc, are you working with $1 million in the market right now? Who is this again? Tell me something. You're a doctor. Have you ever heard of a drug called Benadryl? Being manufactured by MSC Pharmaceuticals. No. Listen, it's in the 3rd stage of FDA approval, all right? Word is firm. No, wait. What was the name of that drug again?
It took me about 7 minutes going through here. 7 minutes to see this is fucking a revamped version of Timothy Sykes. It's a fucking revamp. This article, meet Captain Condor, the options trader whose crew can move markets. I can have an article written about me by the Wall Street Journal. I pay them 10 grand. They do it. When you go into his website, which I recommend, if any of you guys have the day off, go ahead, do it. Go find his InsideOptions.io website and try and join. You've got to set up a Zoom call and do an interview first.
Honestly, Doc, I don't have the time.
This stock is blowing up right now.
The whole firm's going nuts. Hold on, let me open up the door to my office. See that, Doc? That's my trading floor.
And that, again, when you go through and you screen what it is and what's there, you guys are sucking this little Asian guy's dick who's posting nothing but some random pictures of travel here and there and going over and showing here, where is it? I'm scrolling down very slow, but wow. I mean, wow. A beautiful cabinet with absolutely nothing on it whatsoever. Where's the other one? The earliest post, the February 7th post, February 6th. Another one to add to the collection. An empty room. Now, I'm sorry, guys. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to do too much figuring out on anything. But anyway, what I will bring up for you, which I do not believe I have here, what I have here is, again, the decision that I need to make, because these are the schools where the kids just went back to school over here starting this week. This is a standard classroom. These classrooms are the kind of classrooms, now that they have electric fans, that are right around the same kind of classroom that your grandmother and grandfather went to back 1930s, 1940s. And since that's what I'm looking to provide out of this, why wouldn't I want to just go and pump this thing and not give a shit about anybody? It's because that's not what I started this out for. That's the only reason why I'm not making that transition. But anyway, not to cut you off, I went ahead and I recreated it just so that you can see. Let me get it on here. And here you go. This is your gay Asian guy's big, massive iron condor that you guys are all sucking the dick of. 28,000. I recreated it for tomorrow. 28,000, 60, 40, 60, 35, 28,000, 59, 15, 59, 10. Dollar credit. So it's a 2.8 million credit, 2.6 million credit, and it's going to cost you 80% more above that because, again, dollar credit is 20%, 25%. So you've got to put out 4 times that amount of that 2.6 million. So that's where your 11 million comes out. You've got to have 11 million by margin power in order to get that 2.6 million credit for this, and everybody wants to jump on and follow it so that they can get this beautiful, oh my God, this guy's incredible. He's going to get a dollar credit. And he's already rolled this martingale style 3 times. And you guys want to go chase it. So anyway, Quad OPEX Friday tomorrow. Futures are still right around that same level, 59.4650. Bring up the chart, and that's where we're at, being as to where, no, that's the default, and I will zoom it on out, 10-day, 15-minute, just so we can see, because that wave 4 target has not changed, and here we are recently, as of right now, coming down into this 59.40 area where we can start thinking about, oh yeah, that's right. The SPX closed red on Wednesday, closed red on Tuesday, and closing red on Friday would be 3 red closes in a row, and the SPX getting down to 59.21 would be a minus 1% day. So what are we thinking about for Monday, ladies and gentlemen? Enjoy your Thursday.
Don't fuck it up.